Yeah, like your hands on the radio, it sounds good. Yeah, you're still pulling wool in one down. That's what it takes. Yeah, well, we know that.
Why Dan's so good at his job.
I think Rod takes me on the bull.
Morning. How you doing?
It's that like free coffee
Oh.
delirium.
Yeah.
So, I'm the new manager over here at this new club. Was Lake Area Coffee the merger?
No, I
still
have.
So, I was the manager at Blue.
Man,
Oh.
your
They come from that
guys'
way?
pictures are so cool. I just love the one walking across the street. I might steal that person.
Yeah, we would find you that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you can tell it's Perham, and I just love that. Yeah. It looks cold as shit.
Yeah. She'll get there. We need it. Yeah, right.
That's it.
I sit at this table. You can sit wherever you want, no?
Served for you.
I love the new shirts. That's cute.
It's all Leah.
And then our staff ones are. Those ones are cool.
We'll get a lot of
I hope they turn out.
requests, people to buy those.
So we started to.
Yeah, right?
72 hours of walking.
Yeah, there you go. Do a whole carrot.
Right. Most of them are like tourists that offer us like $50. That like is true. I'll just figure it out. Right.
You won't see him till next year.
Like, I'll take it. That's fine. Next year we'll order you that.
Every weekend.
Yeah, and I was wondering more like the, are these the market? All that separate. Because we're using the called mating. Yeah, I don't know. We're called that separate. When we wrote the letter, we're gonna be the owner of the house. So you do all the lot close to the they started to which competes with our. So I called her yesterday. Yeah, they probably, it seems like.
Our new calendar system, like, I know. Yeah. Right. So they like they use it for. And then the next time I begin, they're doing a new meeting space. And they were saying they would share.
Yeah.
So that whole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know. Like, think of the, to make just having like.
Those dumb games are super expensive because I gotta bring whatever.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Just like.
Yeah, Tracy's, and if you don't want to, just like.
I forgot, like, she's not all of her, she's 4, she's not all of her money on fixing things.
Yeah.
And my sister wouldn't even let her have them.
Yeah.
Like, you can do one a day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna be a psycho.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, she's like something else. I think she gave her an extra one because she had to go sit at basketball tournament. It was a spring fling day. At least they were at the high school, so she could just like run laps. She was getting sassy. We'd be like, Warren, take a lap. Just
I don't
Oh, no, yeah, I have not. Okay. Great, like. Sure. Like, are they called programs, small books, brochures?
What are they?
Kind of turned into a seriously created something. And kind of took ownership of it. So that's similar with those service. I saw something in the program company that people came to see yesterday and said, what's our partnership with that?
It's all you. Whenever you want to.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Cariveau Power Hour. Today, but that's all right. We are still streaming live, so we got a few people online. So we're gonna get started today with our EDA education series. We got Pat Morset with Precision Landscape and Electric here to talk about some spring yard and garden preparation. So Pat, it's all yours.
All right. All right, well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate the opportunity to stand up in front of everybody and say hello. My name is Pat Morstead. I'm the owner of Precision Landscape and now currently Precision Electric. And I was told literally yesterday, at the end of the day, 5 o'clock, that I get to talk in front of you guys. So I feel awesome and I feel really good about the fact that I am going to be doing this. So I'm not going to have a presentation with all kinds of fuzzy little flowers and beautiful things, even though that's the stuff that we do and we create. I'm just not going to have that. What I want is to have an engaging conversation where you guys have questions about stuff, questions about your turf, that I can answer those questions directly. And a lot of times that ends up being a better conversation than it is me sitting up here and talking and pointing and putting in things and saying, this is what I think that you guys should do. I have a degree in agronomy, specializing in the turf field. I've probably forgotten more about turf and building things than most people have ever done in their whole lifetime. The reality is I'm here to help answer any of your guys' questions. Sometimes people have questions and concerns about like, this time of the year. What do I do about my grass? So when they look at their turf and they start to see that little fuzzy, I would say material, it's called mycelia, that's on the top part of the surface of their grass. That's what's called snow mold. So as the snow starts to recede, what happens is you get that mycelia that starts to generate on top of the grass. And then it starts to form these little rings. And those little rings are then the pathogen that starts to eat away, it starts to kill what's called the crown of the plant. And that starts to take that material and eat that and kill it. And then all of a sudden you have these big dead brown spots later on in the season. So 2 ways that you can mitigate that. And when I say mitigate, that means not complete control. You are not going to get rid of it completely, right? Because it's a pathogen that's within the soil. And when you get the perfect conditions of moisture, you get the perfect conditions of temperature, and then you have the pathogen itself. So that little perfect triangle of all 3, what happens is you end up getting the disease or that coming into play. So what you can do is you can go up and you can lightly rake that and disperse that material that way. Or the year before, when late in the fall, you can put down the fungicide that's on top of that. Most of the time for homeowners' lawns, putting that fungicide down is overkill, and it's really not completely and totally necessary. So, does anyone have any questions about that kind of stuff? All right, this is easy. Is everybody awake this morning? So, what we got to kind of look at when you're looking at stuff like that is you got these dead spots. So you could go out and you can literally take and put a little soil over the top of that, put a little soil fertilizer seed mix in play, and then maybe a little straw over the top of that, and then keep moisture to that the whole time. Or you can hydroseed it, or you can put down something that's going to keep that moisture there to the plant when you're trying to grow that. That's going to be the key. Sometimes the good Lord above takes care of that, and He allows that water and moisture to happen on a real regular basis. But realistically, the best thing that you can do as a homeowner is water that grass and water it 3 to 5 times a day, especially in the beginning part of the year where it's really dry. That dry component of everything is that what's called evapotranspiration. So the moisture in the soil, or the top part of the soil, and in the plant evaporates really quickly. So when you have that moisture that's there and it's going away real quickly, that little seed that's just starting to come out needs to have constant moisture to it to keep the system down. And then the next thing it does is put a little bit of planting, and then the blade, or what's called the beginning part of the crown of the plant. And then the next thing that it does is it puts a little bit more stress on the root system going back on again. So it goes back and forth with a couple of those different that way. It really allows that time to get going. But constant moisture 3 times a day. I have what I call a client success sheet. So when they're establishing turf or establishing hydroseeding, one of the first things that it says on there is that you need to be married to your turf for at least a month. So bluegrasses take anywhere between 10 to 25 days to germinate. The fescues are anywhere between that 10 to 15 days, and the ryegrasses are anywhere between 5 to 10 days of germination. Germination means that the actual little tiny green part of the seed ends up being really tiny and minuscule, less than 1/8 of an inch, right? And then the root system is approximately that depth too. So that's when most people lose when they say, well, I seeded that, nothing happened, right? Well, that nothing happening meant that what you did is you watered in the morning because you're time and you were drinking your coffee, you're looking at that. And the next thing you know, you're like, okay, day's busy, I'm going to go do my stuff. And when that hot sun comes up, it cooks it, bakes it, and then all of a sudden it kills it, right? That's where we tell people to water a minimum of 3 times a day, if not 5 times a day. Short, quick intervals, 10 to 15 minutes at the very most. You only have to water that deep, right? So short intervals on a regular basis. That helps immensely when you're trying to establish turf. And yes, you have to do it every single day. Take some days off. You can't. It's you have to be married to it every single day. All right. Any questions about that?
Dog spots.
Dog spots. Yes. So you can add some lime, and usually most of the time dog spots is from the female. Females they have a little bit more acidity in their urine, and quite often, the best way to neutralize that is put some lime down with that. Go to the local co-op, get a 25-pound bag of a calcium or a lime that would neutralize that. Take that, rake that into that spot, and do that seed to soil mix. Soil, a little bit of fertilizer. And when I'm saying a little bit, just like you're salting the top of your eggs, right? Small amount of fertilizer, and then put the seed in with that. Mix it all up, get it together, and then when you go up that, just kind of lightly tamp it down. Don't smash it and compact it, but lightly tamp it down.
So there's always a question about what time should you start working on the road? Some people are still snow on the golf.
Yeah, so people kind of go back and forth on that. So you could be sometimes people are detrimental to your yard if you're out there being aggressive with it. So raking it really hard at this time of the year, I would tell you not to do that. Your yard's not actively growing; it's still in dormancy, right? Now, could you go out and hit some of those spots where that snow mold is starting to come up and that mycelium's coming into play? And kind of, fluff those up and be really light and delicate with them? Yes. Should you go out and take the blower out and blow off the leaves around so that you don't have that matted compaction leaf layer on top of your turf that way? Yes. Again, be really careful at this time of the year. The best time of the year to start to establish turf or get turf going, I've always been of the mentality of eating seed in the ground is better than no seed in the ground. I just realized too, the colder that your soil is, the longer it takes. So let me just utilize ryegrass, right? So that 5 to 10 days of germination could literally turn into 15 to 20 days because of the soil temperature being colder, right? So you have to kind of now your care time is longer, right? Observe what it is that way. Sometimes as humans, we think that we need to go out and do all these things and take care of these things. And I'm being busy, I'm doing things. Less is more, right? 100%. Just like taking medicine. They don't tell you to take 2, but they tell you to take 1. Sometimes we think more is better. It's not. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question. If you were going to completely redo your yard landscaping and everything, would you suggest a spring or fall to do that? And then second part is, what is your radius for how far you guys go for jobs?
Our radius is literally anywhere. I've gone and helped out, friends over in Brainerd and established, turf lawns, paver patios, retaining walls, driveways that over Brainerd. I still, every single year, I still get Cragen's golf course calling me up and talking to me about certain things and helping them out with projects. We go, DL, Fargo. The reality is it, the job right, and then what is it that we're doing, and how quickly can we get in and out and do that stuff in our world. What is the time of the year? Again, if you have no seed in the ground, you can't grow grass, right? I'm always of the opinion, as soon as you get the opportunity to put seed in the ground, get it going, get it knocked out, and get it done. People talk about around here like, oh, you don't want to do it in late June and July. But I've grown wonderful grass all year long throughout the entire season that we've had here. Established literally in late November before. gives us with a little bit of a window to get things germinated and going, and then how things kick in right away in the springtime. And you can always do things to tweak it and get things going a little bit more, the right fertilizers and pushing that along on a regular basis. There's just, talk to me. If you got any questions about, okay, I've got this up everywhere, but it's thin. What do I do? A lot of times what people don't necessarily see is you're seeing these, but you're not seeing these, right? Get down on your hands and knees, look at that stuff. Sometimes you might need some food, right? So plants have a real love, especially grass plants, for nitrogen, right? Nitrogen and potassium. And that love for that, it's also a nutrient that goes very quickly within the system. So within a few waters, depending on the kind of that you're putting down, it can go very quickly out of the system. So it's really kind of, there's different ways to tweak stuff and different ways to work through stuff, but from seed to turf, typically, like if we do hydroseeding, it's anywhere between, I'd say, 20 to 30 days mobile turf. And when we do, I would say a completely established one, and when I'm saying established, I mean it's running on it, driving golf carts over the top of it. It's a season, right? But the right fertilization, the right process, the right steps behind all of that, you can push that along and then make up a little bit.
What about shrubs and plants?
Shrubs and plants. So if you can sit your butt down on the ground without getting cold, put shrubs and plants. Don't put hostas in, don't put daylilies in, don't put shrubs in, don't put anything in because of the factor, number one, the shock of moving them, right? And then two, that colder ground is going to be a shock to them. And that root system isn't going to go and start to establish itself. And as well as anyone around here, we can still get down into the teens at night. Well, most likely you captured this plant, you brought it in from a greenhouse. As soon as you do that, that plant has never seen that kind of cold and never dealt with that before. Gone. Put your butt down on the ground, sit there for 15 minutes, and if your butt doesn't get cold, you're good to go. It's soil temperature, right? So take like your meat thermometer, put it in at 2 inches, put a little piece of tape on that meat thermometer probe, put it in at 2 inches, and if you're not 50 degrees or warmer at that 2 inches, don't do it. And again, the simplest way is sit down on the ground. Sit there for a while because it's like, well, I put my hand there, it was kind of warm. And all of a sudden you start to feel that 10 to 15 minutes, start to feel that coldness that's still in the ground. That's going to be an indicator. I can just see everybody. Go ahead.
What's the best time of day to water your one?
I'm kind of the type kind of guy. So theoretically, what they say is it goes into scientific end of it from plant, right? So there's what's called mutation water or dew, right? That dew comes onto the plant early in the mornings, and they say that's the best time to water it in to get that mutation. There's certain nutrients that are within that to get that back into the system. But typically what that does is that interferes with their schedules and what they end up doing. So when we set our programs on irrigation systems, we're starting roughly around midnight, whatever, sometimes earlier, sometimes 2 o'clock, depending on the size of the system and what kind of soils they have and how long the water programs are. And there's watering deep and infrequently on his turf. And that deep and infrequent is literally like if you have a lake system or a lake pump, you want to water for 35 to 40 minutes per zone, if not longer, depending on how much sun you have. If you're really shaded, start cutting that back. But when you have the full sun, what you want to do is get deep and frequent. So you might water deeply. Let's say you water an hour on each one of your zones all night long. So and it starts at 10 and it ends at 5, right? So when you get done with that watering cycle, then you don't water the next day. And if you can push it even longer, you water another day. So what you're doing is you're allowing that water to move through the system that way, and your root system will then chase that. The longer and the deeper your root system, the healthier your plant is going to be. Any other questions?
Do you want to talk about the electric?
So yeah, so we just recently picked up an electrical company that used to be called Emil's Electric, and Emil was ready to exit his business, and fortunately we had many conversations with him over the last few years, and we decided that was a good fit for us. And you know, the electric company, you know, we're doing many things to try to look at that and how we can expand that. But one of the things that we're looking at is automation. So smart home type stuff that way. Your lights, audio systems, you know, security systems, you know, anything that you can do to kind of automate, you know, really cool stuff. So there's a company that we utilize that's called Lutra, and when you have the proper lighting system with this and the program set up within your house, you can literally be driving up and have what's called a geofence on your phone. So on that phone, when you're driving up about half a mile away, your lights turn on in your garage and in your hallway, and all these things are on and getting ready. So maybe it's your maker that you want to have, you know, that unique cup of coffee, or maybe it's, you know, a certain heater that turns on, and that system can start flipping all of those things on, and you know, your life a little bit easier instead of looking for the lights or trying to figure out what you need to do that way. So it's a pretty cool system that they have that's out there nowadays, and I'm a little green when it comes to knowing some stuff about that, but it's really neat stuff. The other thing that we're doing is generators. So we've got a lot of, in fact, Tony, our master electrician, is on his way down to Wisconsin right now. He did some certifications on that kind of training right now. There's not only installing, but they're also maintaining them afterwards. So that maintenance of those systems that way, and making sure that every single year we have that opportunity to come in and change the oil, do, you know, air filters, look at the system, you know, do a system check on those kind of things. And then it's a full line of commercial and residential electrical. So those guys, the masters electricians, the journeymen, are all certified in the state of Minnesota for not only the required amount of hours, but it's so comfortable for anyone in Minnesota unless you have a certificate. So we are fortunate enough to add that to what we have for our service, and really that's what our whole intention was, is that we start to become that one-stop shop for all clients, because we found that there was a pain point. They're like, we just can't find any electricians, or we just can't find any landscapers, and how do we start, you know, bringing all this together? Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
I have a bunch of magnets here in the back too, so if you guys pick one, yeah, we're that with you. That's our electric, and then I also have. Appreciate the opportunity, you guys.
Get out there and start. All right, next on the list, we've got Nick from Pizza Ranch. Why are we in this room?
Great.
Why did we change spots?
He's gonna tell us.
So we are excited to announce that we're going to be expanding our fun zone already. So the current meeting room that we used to meet in, it's going to be all arcade. We're adding about another dozen games. And then our meeting room that was there is getting moved to the back. So we'll still have this meetings, parties, but also some more expanded games, doing some more coin pushers. There's some fun. Some of you may remember Bobbit. They came out with an arcade Bobbit game. There's a Twister game too, so it's more fun, interactive games for adults and the kiddos. So that, I mean, our games are scheduled to be installed the last week in May. One will be open over there with those expanded games.
So this space is gonna stay Fun Zone?
Yes, this
It's
all
just-
stays.
Yes.
The meeting you're talking about to go down this hallway.
Yep, so you'll go down the hall, that hall's been finished up. Actually putting ceiling in today, next week carpet goes in, so that'll probably.
We should next power hour will be in there.
Depends on. Oh, Dan said yes, then yeah.
Is he gonna get over here and finish it off?
He can come in and do
You can come with the drywall.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Nick. They're gonna come and introduce themselves. Painted Turtle. One, two, just go.
I get so nervous. She
Okay.
opens and then I step in.
Perfect. They've got a whole.
I've been like sitting here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna. I work with the Painted Turtle, so I'm her manager right now. And this is Tiffany, the creator of the Turtle. So she started the Painted Turtle about 6 years ago. The main focus was face paint, but we've added on a lot of different services. We have balloon twisting, balloon decorating, brush tattoos, glitter bars, all entertainment kids and adults. So what I want to talk to you about is why hire us. And things that you're going to get if you hire us. We not only did we curate amazing designs for your specific event, we also do use medic grade professional face paint that's hypoallergenic and the glitter too, so it's all safe for kids. The other thing you're gonna get is we are insured. So we all of our artists, anything that goes on during the event is insured just in case accidents happen. What else? Sorry, totally blanking here. Okay, so let's location. So, we're obviously based on Perham, but we have gone all the way into North Dakota. We go as far as Bluefield. We've gone to Fox Center, the Bemidji area in Minnesota. We've gone all around. What else? Yeah. Okay. Professional face painter. Another thing that we do compared to like having a volunteer is we are painting a face every 2 to 3 minutes. So we're able to get through a lot more faces than what a volunteer is able to get through. So like I know you has me at turtle races. Line gets really long and we're shelling out those face paintings really fast. And especially when you're at an event and face painting is free, then it's like an hour even. Even for us, lines get to be an hour. So my daughter just did. It was an Easter scramble in Brainerd. She painted about 120 kids in about 5 hours. So that's what about, or I don't know. I'm artistic, not so I just like it, right? And she was there by herself, and she's 13. So that's another thing is we're actually looking for more people to work for us. So, many high schoolers that are looking for a summertime job. We pay pretty well.
now and have a lot of games going on. We're a team of about 17 right now, and we're looking to be about 25 as a population.
Which is one of the great things about what Tiffany's done is with her designs, because they're so quick and concise, that we are able to do like larger corporate events. Just last weekend, we did another Easter event at church where we sent 5 artists over there. So we had a total of 7 artists out last weekend. With a team that big, we're able to, do as many events as we're able to. We're crazy busy, as everything around this area. Oh, question?
Do you guys charge hourly or by the child that you paint, or how does that work? It depends on the event.
Yes, it depends on the event. So we do 2 different ways. We hire us to provide free paint for your event. We charge $120 an hour. That's per hour per artist. And we do have a 2-hour booking minimum, just to make it worth our while.
That's mileage.
Then we have events like turtle races. We're going to sit there and we're going to charge per phase. We like to call it pay per phase, so the parent or whoever pays. And those designs range from $5 to $20, depending on, full phase is a little bit more, around that $20 range, and then a little something small, $5.
We do have stipulations for the paper face because when I first started, we were going to a lot of events and sitting there for hours, and then it takes some of our painters away from a potential corporate event. So we really don't do any paper face unless it's for thousands of foot traffic. I mean, there are some do like area, but, and then we're kind of trying to set something to do, like if someone wants to see it, have like a safety net. That's kind of what I've been calling it. So that's what we did at the Easter event, where we didn't know how it's going to be. So we said, okay, minimum we're going to make this amount, which is what probably rate would be. And if we don't meet that, then you make the difference. So say $100 difference, and you pay $100, and we still come out. But if we meet that, it's for you. So that's kind of that we've been trying to do. Another thing that I want to mention too is like when you compare us by work, you also benefit. We have been doing one faith on social media. I have about 100 and close to 180,000 followers on Facebook now. I've done a couple videos that get up into the millions. One of them actually has 17 million views. And then on TikTok, it's about 70,000. 78,000. And on Instagram, it's fascinating. It's like you watch. It's crazy.
60 seconds. It's like,
yeah, lots of. So that's really what we work with our painters. Is I make them like make designs over and over again until they get it done in under 3 minutes. So lots of practice with that. But we also have about 40,000, getting close to 40,000. I think it's 38 on Instagram. So, did you have a question?
Yeah, so I think we hired for birthday, and it's you do a 2-hour minimum. What else do you do with like the painting at 2 hours?
Yep. So for birthday parties, okay. So when we do bigger events, the designs are a little bit more streamlined. So they're not getting any extra flowers or any extra glitter or anything like that. It's really so that we get it. When we do birthday parties, they get full face, really separate. You can pick anything that you want. A lot of the times it's me or Hannah that goes to the birthday parties. I'm actually working on trying to branch out nationally. So that's where Hannah's stepped in. We've actually done events in Arizona, Pennsylvania. We had a couple that were potential in Washington, and another one in North Carolina. But sorry, I got sidetracked. But anyway, so it's either one of us. I'm trying to really not go on as many events. I can focus on that. But birthdays. Sorry, I have ADHD. So
we do all the bells and glitter. We'll even paint the arms depending on like how it matches the face. And those designs are going to be around 5 to 7 minutes per child. So depending on how big your birthday party is, if you only have 10 kids coming, it'll take that first hour, call the face paint, but then we can add in a second service for that second hour, whether it be tongue twisting or glitter tattoos, airbrush tattoos, something like that to fill in those spots.
And I mean, if you just want to do face painting, the kids will come back.
Yeah.
And then they'll come back. And
Yeah.
it'll be like cover face, arms, it's summer things. Like,
Yeah.
they just come back.
Yeah. So I do have some business cards here and a pamphlet. You can give us a call, email,
All
Facebook.
your information is on
Yeah.
Perm.com.
Yeah.
Check out our directory. Find it there.
Any other questions?
Is it hard to wash it off?
Absolutely not.
No, you can take it off with a baby wipe. You can shower your bath. I'm glad we brought this up. That's another point with our professional face paint. It's so easy to it comes on nice, it comes off nice, and a lot of times the volunteers, we're not trying to hate on volunteers. Obviously, if we need them, but they, not all the time do they do the research, and they'll use like craft paint or just other face paint, from Walmart. This just doesn't come on as nicely, come off as nicely, and with that, reactions or irritations pass, but all of our stuff is 100% safe. Even just the other day, I had a little girl about 2 years old just kind of stick her finger right away in the mouth, and it's like, yeah, that probably didn't taste very good, but no issues there. Like it's all whether it's tested or on her face. So
Yeah, and so we do have like some of the colors, almost like red. If it's on all day, the red, kind of turns a little bit orange, but then the next day.
I just remember from when my kids were little and they get face painting. They're still there. That church in between. You got a doctor.
And so another risk that you run with like, if you have volunteer and they use it for the paint, that has latex in it. So if you have a kid that your mind who has a latex allergy, you're running the risk of them going into anaphylactic shock, which people don't really think about. Another issue is craft glitter. Like a lot of times people will be like, oh, it's glitter, and so they'll use craft glitter, and our glitter is cosmetic grade. Where craft glitter gets high, you can have a detached hernia from that. And okay, so a lot of people are like, oh, it's just fake thing. But you're putting glitter and putting stuff on kids' faces, kids to like eat something that could harm them. Why would you put it on their face? Because there's skin that just wants that, whatever. So, yeah. Any other questions? No.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We've got David from Lakes Community Cooperative. So you're welcome.
Thank you. As you said, it's Lakes Community Cooperative. You're very familiar with Lakes Cooperative. We've been part of this community for 110 years. So, serving agriculture and energy. So back exactly a year, this is a byproduct of wanting to retire. Is where this started. So he reached out to me, and a lot of people don't know this, but I actually had a tie to this club back 20 plus years ago. I actually started my career on Wolf Lake, where I worked for years. And from there, I became the general manager of this co-op sample out of Murdock. So I worked at that co-op for 10 years. I left there for an opportunity to become the manager at the co-op out of Lake Park, which is a local energy and cooperative in the Lakes area that has been around for 115 years. So combined, these two companies, 225 years, and both originated out of the cooperative creamery. Obviously, Lakes area was still in the milk and creamery business. Community co-op was not. So we put this merger together, and with retired the manager. We have a lot of overlap, especially in our propane trade territory. Like I said, we go up obviously from Perham, Frazee, and kind of went east. We kind of went from Frazee to Detroit Lakes west, but we had a fair amount of overlap. There's 8 employees that actually worked for me at Co-op Sample that were part of the Lakes Co-op today when we did the merger. So I got part of my own co-op back and a number of my employees. Like I say, you're familiar with Lakes Area Co-op, haul milk, buy milk, they feed, propane, a number of convenience stores. And aside from the milk and feed part, and then bulk fuel. Aside from the milk and feed, co-op was the same basic identity, doing the same services, just a little bit different trade territory. One other unique facet that the community co-op had is most people don't know unless you really search our website. We're also natural gas. We serve 8 communities of natural gas. Our furthest south community is Walden, and the furthest north is Fishman, between Crookston and Grand Forks. Something we got into in 2015, and that's all about serving small, rural, local communities. Otherwise, it's not going to be natural gas. That really is the foundation of our co-op, just like Lakes Area does. It's serving communities. Perham and Detroit Lakes are the biggest communities we're in. From there, it's down to communities. I think Fisher is joining people. We're about being part of our local communities, serving communities, being involved with organizations like this, and being part of the community. And, one of the newer things we're doing is kind of cutting into natural gas. It's cutting dairies with natural gas, with renewable natural gas. Working with it, they're putting in a digester. We're capturing methane, and renewable, and we're working on the part of bringing that back into a main line and doing stuff like that. So,
Real magic.
yep, renewable. And obviously, there's renewable credits. But combined, like I say, 225 years of business, but we're also over 300 employees. Geographically, we cover from Clearbrook to south of Pelican Rapids, from Walker, Hackensack area, all the way to more. So, geographic standpoint, we cover a pretty large area, and like I say, our main focus is agriculture. So, that's my little infomercial.
Any questions?
Any questions for me? So, main office in Perham. I do office one day a week. They park for but the long-term corporate headquarters will be here in Perham.
All of community cooperatives, convenience store, gas stations, cities as well.
Yes, they're all Senex branded. So we have 60 locations. 11 of them considered convenience stores, and 5 that are general stores, like Wolf Lake, which we sell groceries and fixed tires, to Battle Lake, which has a shop, and we have a little location actually. I'm sure nobody knows where that is, unless you're older. There was a flake that walked off the NGO in 25 years ago, or more. But yeah, so like I say, we're serving small rural communities. Like I say, part of the Perham community. Obviously, it's been a very strong downtown. It's been interesting. Take my lunch break and drive around to get familiar, and all the businesses that are still active in town. It's very strong, very exciting community.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our agenda, we've got Rod's gonna come talk to us about the gathering.
Yeah, I'll talk to you here so I can see my slides.
All right. I'll try and get you on camera from up here.
Oh, shoot.
So it's coming this weekend. It's our 24th annual show. Then we're, this is really our post-COVID show. This is our show in 4 years that we've had all the income come in from the vendors, sponsors, and so forth. Got to pull the show off maybe with no money. These are our slides. We have that. So it's a good, exciting year for us. It takes us about $50,000 to put this event together. So this weekend is 150 tables in the front gym, buy, sell, trade. Back gym is all national competition and world championships coming in. So it takes a lot of money to get more than just art. It's all about high-end art. So we're $10 at the door this year for this dealer stuff. flowers at the door, big buyers that come in from long distance. And we have a lot of them coming this year. Michigan is a huge contingent because they're making what they did a similar type show in Canada, Michigan. So half of our shows are about Michigan and really Wisconsin. So we're pretty excited to see those guys come in. We have went more digital than in the past. Transition printing posters has gotten expensive. So our first week in social media run this year was 100,000 views. Now clicks, which is awful high. We like that. We were trying to get up to 250,000, 25,000 clicks. I don't know. We discovered over the years that we pull a lot of people that come in 40 years. And so we're looking for a lot of new people this year to get into our 25th anniversary coming next year. If you don't get them, that's all right.
Oh, I got them.
Okay, go ahead. So, let's go ahead and push to the back. Yeah, there you go. Well, that's good. So, okay, there's a lady. To the back. We used to use a large, we ran up 3,500 plus people a year. That's just kind of got expensive. Now we use it more for our vendors. We use it for banquet on Saturday night. We do 57 classes, so that equals 250 awards. Just and it's right after judging. So it's a tremendous day put in. Go ahead and move to the next. Part of our event is we discovered over the years we get a lot of women, a lot of kids. We don't get enough women. So we pop a couple $1,000 at Ladies' Day to pull me to town, drop a man off the back, and come downtown. So we give away a $500 shopping spree, thanks to our downtown. Lady shops, PSIQ is new this year, so we got favorite level 3, and they stick with us every year. It's been good for them, full of new customers. So part of the gathering is recognizing people. Our carvers and artists get to compete every year for a number of this year. Time we've got 2 carvers. Glynn Murdock-Perham, world champion out of Michigan, Thomas. Tracy is former college level teacher, also now head of our nonprofit, Decoy Education. Decoy Education is going to take a different approach and what we've done in the past. We actually teach fish decoy carving at the Bridgit high schools. Years have been elected, one of our past board members, and we never see those kids. 10,000 kids come here and never show up in Perham. They want to work and get married and so forth. So we're taking a whole different approach of decoy education for going out, Cub Scout, Boy Scout level, and starting locally and branching out to try to rebuild. Because the majority of our carvers got old and are gone. So I think there's some more World Cup logos. Let's go on to Midwest Nationals. Now, years ago, all the old boys in Minneapolis that have always done ducks and so forth. One of our members is late 70s. We want to keep duck decoy carving going. And we this the Perham. So we did. Last year was our first year in National competition. And exciting thing this year is River Falls, Wisconsin. Is hopefully something entire class up that carved the show. The money raised for the bus, but all their ducks are definitely coming. So this is going to be a big push in the future besides fish decoys, all kinds of bird carvings. So we're pretty excited about that. I think next we're going to do a little video of a couple of young guys from Boston that started the business. Show. This, I believe, is pre-COVID. They got to make fish spears and then ice saws. We've got crazy in the business out, and since 2018 they sold 1,000 ice saws. People love to cut ice. Spear holes are big, so if we get that video up, it's pretty nice. It's not going to come up.
I don't think it's black for me on
Yeah, they did a great job of showing them coming from the community center and going around showing all the highways and so forth. If you want to see 20 years of history, NFPA.org has got 24 years of history we stand for National Fish Decoy Association. And that's where we put up all the color photos of all the competition. We average 50-some classes every year, so Black Friday for the artists to choose from. So hopefully we got an exciting weekend. It's not going to snow. Hope it's not rainy. It'll be good to go. Any questions? Happy to answer. Good. None. Go to work.
This is
I
actually
hope to see you on the show. And maybe- Yeah.
Ron.
Yep.
This is actually my first business.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember. Ah.
That was my first, I think that was my first event I ever did.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. That's excellent.
Yeah.
I think the old days.
Paint your face.
Thank you. I hope to see you all this weekend.
This weekend, but the next weekend up North Junction for Lakeside this spring. Lisa was going to talk about this, but there's home buying essentials if you're buying a home.
You have to bring it on it if you want it to talk about it. Come on up. Okay. And,
And you didn't even know what.
all right, so tonight, 5:30 till 7, we're planning a New Horizons to have a home buying essentials course tonight. It's my so lenders, realtor, and LP will all be there. Things that we go over are just building your credit score, say market conditions, and the home buying process. The home buying process has been kind of weird, 2.5 years now. So if you're in the market, it's not designed for a first-time home buyer. Looking at buying a home next year or the next year, things to plan ahead so that way when you're ready to make that final. These are crossed, your eyes are dotted, everything's ready to go. So that way when you get that offer in the house, you get that house without any problem. So that's really what this program is tonight. So we're really excited to be around downtown here, 5:30 to 7. We'd love to see you. So, question? Please.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trevor. One of our great new members, the Painted Turtle, but we've also got some other new members. Just wanted to highlight Salty Pickle on the Playtime 78. They've joined. Big things happening out there. New Thriving person to
They're twins.
Yeah. What is?
Yeah, Nate
Yeah. So they're both in.
and Financial. Nate is thriving.
And
Number.
And then
They
we've
look
got
at
lots of events.
Blossom Cup.
Blossom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's
So,
still at the cactus.
event rental space. Next week. So awesome new members.
Where is that?
That's
Where's City?
City Request.
Oh.
Back porch. Yeah.
Are they open
She doesn't have like a day-to-day open, but they are open for events. So she does events rentals. And does a bunch of different stuff. Plan the events, run the event. Yeah, you guys should get. Yeah, she's on vacation this week.
Also, it's up for new Turtle Fest event.
Oh, yeah.
They're bringing in.
Thursday.
Thursday. So, lots of that.
City, EDA.
John, you got had to. Next, I didn't see the potatoes. Business as usual.
You got it all.
Yeah, the pack is on.
He still is, he just stepped out.
Oh, okay, so yeah, they're working on the roof system. That's how many folks are making that back. It's been dripping. But it's Hammers is working on it. The playland is closed because of that right now. So once all the snow is gone off the roof, they can get up That, from the EDA standpoint, we did just launch a grant. Opportunity grant. The application guidelines are progressive from them. Much you want. Which you find it focuses on 3 categories. There's housing capacity, there's commercial, there's public infrastructure. Grant dollars are 1-for-1 match. It's a Perham, and it's a reimbursement. So after the project is done, you back for the project. Okay. Did I miss anything? Good enough. 30 seconds around the room. Anybody got? Yes.
Name is Ron Lower, I'm with Surfro, restoration construction. Lots of snow this winter, along with water. So we can help any water service that you have. That's your concern, or may like, that may occur with split walls or on they build some or some point. We're not residential commercial properties. Do business starts and if you're interested, once again.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for coming.
I see that, Rob.
Chris?
Chris, Honorary Company of Spring is late. Mid-June to the first part of July, and then we do the corn maze in the fall. Strawberries will take about 2 days. We don't do a head count on people, but we get about 20 people that come out and pick strawberries that amount of time. Many of them are not from the Lakes area. Probably half of our followers on social media are from Iowa, North Canada. We also do corn maze in the fall. We normally get between 8,000 and 10,000 people and have rooms every year. We're still looking for business sponsors. If anybody's interested in advertising our corn maze, all of our info is on the website. We have a team that is still our designer. We don't head out until summer, but very local to the area this year. So if you have a local business, this would be an awesome year to get on board. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris.
Turtle Race tea pre-orders,
Oh, yeah.
I sent them out.
This
That's
is
our
the
little
turtle.
guy this year.
Shirts.
Went into the
$15
America
for sure.
yeah,
So,
adults, kids,
toddlers.
toddler. Turtle Fest planning has begun, so if you haven't gotten to your Turtle Fest event, send them. There's 98% done.
Yeah. So almost.
We got one business.
We have band stuff for Main Street.
Well, that was a question.
Got the street dance for Saturday is.
Yes, they're out of band out of Fargo.
For good things.
Yeah.
Under the tent.
Under the
Big
tent.
tent coming.
Friday parade.
Street fair. Last year we only did 2 blocks. This year we're gonna take all 3. The street fair is going.
Yep.
A comedian
Yeah.
that's very innovative. I've heard of him. Nationwide.
The outdoor movie Wednesday night at Northwoods Life Church. And then weekend Thursday, parade Friday, band Saturday,
Fireworks in there.
fireworks Saturday, potentially strawberries. So we'll
I know.
we're jam packing.
Oh, we got Chamber Choice Awards.
That's
This-
on Thursday.
In 2 days.
Yes.
Good. Okay. We got to drop the prizes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do.
We got. Get in. Everybody not sign up for Friday? There.
Yes.
Got some competition.
Anybody else not in here?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, there's also a contest on Friday. Okay.
Buffet. Who's getting the buffet? It's like, huh?
Sorry.
Right here, these three, you guys stick around. We get another bit.
Trevor.
Boom. Lakeside tap is $50, so the Lakeside tap.
Hey.
Thanks for coming.
Pizza. Tiffany. Come on, Rusty. And 2 big at-home pizzas from.
Yeah, I did pizza. All right, flyers up here from the Painted Turtle. Thanks, everyone.
Nick, what is turtle days? You know the number?
Hi, how are you?
Whatever that Wednesday is.
Yes,
But
you
it's,
can.
you know, why you're
I wouldn't say that. I would tell you. Cat is one of my daughters. That's right. Yeah. Part of my family.
That's amazing.
June 14th to 18th. So if you're open, that's 17th.
Yeah.
This is Saturday.
I would like hard days. Especially with that. Unless it's 90 degrees every day.
Right, well, if you get there, you get there.
Yeah, because I know we've done the parade before. We never go to like that. Like, we're open this weekend or we're open next week. Like, stupid weather. Yeah.
Blast out
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
Yeah, I have like turtle. Yeah, so just right here, event.
I think we were just gonna set up a
Face
turtle
painting.
park and face painting.
Yep.
Do we have last year?
Yeah, I actually might have that already on the